What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video, and today we are going to be making our 2025-2026 Premier League predictions. So let's just get right into it. In 20th, I'm going to go with Burnley. I think despite making signings such as Kyle Walker from Man City, Loam Chauna from Lazio, Bashir Humphries from Chelsea, and Marcus Edwards from Sporting, I just don't think it'll be enough for them to stay up. I mean, looking at their first 6 fixtures in the Premier League season, it's going to be very tough for them to stay up, in my opinion. In 19th, I'm actually going to go with Sunderland. I think some people might pick Sunderland to stay up, especially after making signings such as Granit Xhaka from Leverkusen, Simon Adingra from Brighton, and even Habib Diarra from Strasbourg. I just feel like it still won't be enough for them to stay up. I mean, last season they had to qualify through the playoffs from the championship, so I still think it'll be a huge struggle for Sunderland to stay up. And also they lost Joe Bellingham, who went to Borussia Dortmund during the summer. To round up the relegation spots, I'm going to go with 18th, Leeds United. They did make some signings such as Lucas Perry from Lyon, Anton Stas from Hoffenheim, and Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. But I just feel like the Premier League is just too tough for the newly promoted teams to stay up. And looking at their first 6 fixtures, it looks pretty tough, especially having to face Arsenal and Newcastle. And in the middle of the season in December, when they have to face Chelsea and Liverpool twice. So that's going to be super tough for them, I think. In 17th, I'm going to go with Wolves. I think losing Matheus Cunha going to Manchester United is a big blow, as well as Ryan Aït-Nouri going to Man City. I think that's a huge blow to this team. Although they did make signings of Jurgen Strand Larsen and Fer Lopez, both from Celta Vigo. But I don't know how much that's going to help, especially looking at their preseason results. It hasn't been looking very good for them so far. But who knows, they might be able to perform better when the Premier League season starts. But as of right now, I think they'll just escape relegation. In 16th, I'm going to go with Brentford. Losing Mbeumo as he's going to Manchester United is a big blow to Brentford's attack, especially with Wissa possibly leaving as well. But as of recording, he still hasn't gone, but who knows. Brentford have also signed Kelleher, though, from Liverpool, and also Jordan Henderson has also joined on a free from Ajax. So who knows, maybe they can help Brentford stay up, but yeah, it's not looking good, especially looking at last season's stats with Mbeumo and Wissa being pretty much their top scorers, so yeah. In 15th, I'm going to go with West Ham. They have made some signings, I think one important one being Callum Wilson from Newcastle. They have sold Mohamed Kudus to Tottenham Hotspur, though, which I think could be detrimental to their attack, but obviously they have signed some new players. Also, Nicholas Füllkrug, he did have a very disappointing season last season, but looking so far in preseason, he's been doing pretty decent, so maybe he can help Jared Bowen and Soucek rack up some more goals, and who knows, maybe West Ham can do a little bit better. Next, in 14th, I'm going to go with Everton. Everton did make a few signings this summer, including Tieno Barry from Villarreal and Carlos Alcaraz from Flamengo. And as of recording right now, there's also links of Jack Grealish possibly moving to Everton as well from Manchester City, so that could be interesting. Looking at their first 6 fixtures, I think it's somewhat reasonable for Everton. They do have the Merseyside Derby early on in September, so that could possibly determine their season, how it plays out, but who knows? I think 14th place would be decent for Everton. Next, in 13th, I'm going to go with Bournemouth. Bournemouth did lose a lot of key players, including Milos Kerkez, who went to Liverpool, and Dean Huijsen, who went to Real Madrid in the summer. So yeah, they lost a lot of strength in the defense, which I think could affect their season a lot, but they still have some of their main forwards, Evan Nielsen, Kluivert, Semenyo. So I think their attack will still be fine. It's just that their defense is going to be a little bit weaker, so they'll probably concede more goals. In 12th, I'm going to go with Fulham. They haven't really made any transfers this summer, but they still have some of their key goal scorers: Raul Jimenez, Iwobi, Muniz, Harry Wilson, Smith Rowe. So I still think they'll have a strong attack. Looking at their preseason, they are doing pretty well. Although I think they need to still strengthen if they want to finish higher. They did finish 11th last season, but I think since other teams have strengthened, I think Fulham will probably drop down a place compared to last season. In 11th, I'm going to go with Crystal Palace. They also haven't made many transfers this summer, but they still have Jean-Philippe Mateta. They still have Eze as of right now. They have Sarr. They have Nketiah. So those are like their big goal scorers. And they still have their defenders, Munoz and Gehi, as of right now. So they can still help contribute them to a great season. Crystal Palace did win the FA Cup last season, which would usually qualify them for the Europa League. But they now are demoted to the Conference League, which could ease their season a little bit, so they could probably finish a little bit higher. In 10th, I'm going to go with Manchester United. They did sign Cunha from Wolves, and they also did sign Brian Mbeumo from Brentford, so those are some good signings for Manchester United. They're also linked with Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig. It's either them or Newcastle, and Sesko did say that he only wants Manchester United as of right now, making this video. So it's looking very likely that he will sign for Manchester United. So that'll be a very good addition to their attack. Although I do think that Manchester United still need to strengthen their midfield and goalkeeper, especially after the horrendous season that Onana had. I think they need to get a new goalkeeper. Especially looking at the table from last season, they finished 15th, which is absolutely a horrendous season for Manchester United. And looking at their first 6 Premier League fixtures, they have to face Arsenal, Manchester City, and Chelsea. So that's going to be super tough for them. In 9th, I'm going to go with Tottenham Hotspur. Despite finishing 17th last season, I do think they're going to improve, especially after signing Mathis Tel from Bayern Munich, Mohamed Kudus from West Ham, and also signing Joao Palhinha on loan from Bayern Munich. I think it'll help strengthen their team a lot. They are going to lose Heung-min Son, who's going to LAFC into the MLS. Big Spurs legend. I'm glad that he actually finally got a trophy. They won the Europa League, obviously, so now they're qualified for the Champions League. But yeah, I do think that Spurs are going to improve, especially still having Dominic Solanke, Brennan Johnson. I think that Spurs are going to do better. In 8th place, I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest. They did have a good season. I don't think anyone expected them to get top 8 or let alone escape relegation. But yeah, honestly, it was a very good season. They are signing Dan Ndoye from Bologna to add on to their attack, along with Chris Wood and Hudson-Odoi, so that'll be good. But they are losing Anthony Alenga, who's going to Newcastle, so that could be a bit of a detriment to their attack, but I still think that they'll have a pretty good season. Since Crystal Palace got demoted to the Conference League, Nottingham Forest actually got upgraded into the Europa League, so who knows how they'll do in that. In 7th, I am going to go with Brighton. They did make some signings like Kostulas from Olympiacos and Maxime de Kuiper from Club Brugge, so that'll be some good additions to the team. They did lose Joao Pedro, who went to Chelsea during the Club World Cup, and Estupinian is also going to AC Milan, so that could be a bit of a blow to their team, but they do still have Danny Welbeck, they still have Mitoma. Those are like the big contributors to their team, and they also have Minte still, so their attack is actually looking pretty strong, so I still think they'll finish in the top 7. In 6th place, I'm going to go with Newcastle. They did get Anthony Alenga from Nottingham Forest, and they are getting Aaron Ramsdale on loan from Southampton, so those are some good additions. Looking on the Isak situation as of right now, it still hasn't fully happened yet, but who knows, maybe it could happen in the next coming days. I feel like missing out on their key transfer targets such as Ekitike and Šeško as of right now. I think there is a possibility that Isak could still stay, but who knows? Especially after Newcastle have actually been linked, according to a few sources, to Nicholas Jackson. That could be interesting. I'm not sure if it'll happen, but still super interesting. Newcastle also did qualify for the Champions League, finishing 5th place last season. So that could probably affect their season a little bit more, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe a little more injuries could affect their season. More games to play, but who knows? Maybe they'll do better than I think they will. In 5th place, I'm going to go with Aston Villa. They haven't really made any big moves in the transfer window either, but they still have their main attackers, Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers, Marco Asensio. So I still think that they'll still get in that top 5. Unai Emery, we all know that he loves the Europa League, and Aston Villa are in the Europa League. So who knows, maybe he can help them win a trophy in the Europa League and also qualify for Champions League. Maybe. I think top 5 will still get Champions League qualification, so who knows. I think Aston Villa will have a good season. In 4th, I'm going to go with Chelsea. They are coming off of a huge win in the Club World Cup after beating PSG 3-0, so that's pretty huge. They signed Joao Pedro from Brighton during the summer. They also signed Liam Delap from Ipswich, and they even signed Jamie Gittins from Borussia Dortmund and a bunch of other signings as well that Chelsea usually do. They actually sold Nani Madueke to Arsenal and also sold Joao Felix to Al Nassr, so that's pretty interesting. They do still have some of their main attackers like Cole Palmer, who scored a brace in the Club World Cup, and Nkunku, if he can stay fit, he'll be good. Enzo Fernandez, Pedro Neto. So Chelsea's attack is looking pretty strong. If they just stay consistent throughout the whole season, they kind of fell off towards the second half. So if they stay consistent during that second half, I think they could possibly finish a bit higher. But I think right now, I think 4th is where Chelsea will finish. In 3rd place, it might be a little bit controversial, but I'm actually going to go with Arsenal. They did make some big signings during the summer, like Zubimendi from Real Sociedad, Madueke from Chelsea, earlier mentioned. But the biggest one, they finally signed a striker. They signed Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon. Absolutely amazing player. He scored 54 goals in all competitions last season. Absolutely incredible. But we just don't know how those numbers will convert into the Premier League, because obviously the Portuguese league is not as competitive as the Premier League. But we'll see. Arsenal did have some new contract signings like Gabriel and Lewis Skelly to solidify their defense, so that'll be good for Arsenal. But looking at their first 6 fixtures, it looks pretty tough. Manchester United, City, Liverpool, and Newcastle in the first 6 fixtures. That'll be super tough for them, but we'll see how they do. In 2nd place, I'm going to go with Manchester City. They did make a lot of huge signings during the summer, like Reinders from AC Milan. They signed Ryan Aït-Nouri from Wolves and Ryan Cherki from Lyon. So those are some very good signings, along with a few others. They are losing Kevin De Bruyne, however. He is going to Napoli. Absolutely amazing player, Premier League legend, club legend. He will be very missed by the club. I think it's a huge loss for Manchester City, but hopefully these new signings can help Manchester City. I think Erling Haaland will do pretty well as well, along with Omar Marmoush, who obviously came during the winter transfer window from last season. I think Erling Haaland and Marmoush will get a lot of goals combined and push Liverpool this season, but I just think they'll fall just short of the title. But I still think it's going to be a good season for Man City. Which brings us to the champions of the Premier League, which I think will be Liverpool again. They won their 20th English League title last season. Absolutely brilliant. In the transfer window, they've been going crazy. They bought Florian Wirtz for a record fee. They also brought in Jeremy Frimpong, both from Leverkusen. They also signed Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth, an amazing defender. They also signed striker Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt, another good player. They did sell Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich, and as of right now, Darwin Núñez is linked to Al Hilal in Saudi. Obviously, Trent left in the summer to go to Real Madrid, and Liverpool also sold center-back Jero Kwanzaa to Leverkusen. So I think Liverpool need to find another center-back to solidify their defense, and I think they'll be good. And obviously, Liverpool are playing in the Community Shield in a few days against Crystal Palace, which I predict will be a 2-1 win to Liverpool. But we'll see how that goes. Regarding the other domestic cups, I'm going to go with Chelsea to win the Carabao Cup, and I'm going to go with Liverpool to win the FA Cup. As for the Premier League Golden Boot, I'm going to go with Erling Haaland. I think he'll get 28 goals, and the Golden Playmaker Award I think will be Mohamed Salah once again with 18 assists. So those are my predictions for the 2025-2026 Premier League season. Make sure to comment down your predictions below and whether if you agree with mine or not, what would you change. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.